I met Jonathan some time ago, I think 35, 40 years ago. I was serving life. And I contacted Jonathan and he said, man, I had a life sentence. What can you do to help me? I said, send me the paperwork. And I needed a habeas corpus. So when Jonathan wrote back, he said, you don't need a habeas corpus. You need a habeas escapist. I had too much time. so, so that's just a little joke that I share with. But Jonathan, after 35 to 40 years, I met him. Every time I went in on them 2, 3 sabbaticals with the Department of Justice, I write Jonathan. He wrote me back. He would send me information. He would help me. He never rejected me. He treated me like a human being. And because of that, he and I maintained a friendship over 40 years. I'm on the inside, he on the outside. And I came out once or twice. And again, I always called Jonathan. He never jumped on me. Why are you back? What happened? Circumstances dictate, that's what it was. But beyond that, he looked at me as a human being and as a friend. And I've always considered Jonathan as a friend. And I have very few white friends. And Jonathan is up near the top of the list. Sure, he works in the law. Some things he can do, some things he can't. But you can bet your boots, he gonna give you the real deal. He gonna be honest, straightforward. He ain't gonna give you no false hope. And for that, I respect and appreciate Jonathan Smith. And if I was a white guy, I want to be just like Jonathan.
I first met Jonathan Smith more than 30 years ago when we were young-ish executive directors. In the years since we met, I have learned many things from Jonathan, but there are 3 key things that I've learned about Jonathan that underscore why he is so deserving of the Scoutt Prize. First, I've learned that John is a brilliant lawyer. He has an unparalleled ability, and I think anyone who has worked closely with him would agree, that John can craft a successful cause of action to challenge nearly any harm that his clients are made to suffer. And he has an unrelenting drive to hold accountable those who are the source of that harm. The second thing I've learned about John is that he is a strategic advocate. He has recognized the importance of diverse voices and perspectives in advocacy, and he has worked to forge collective and collaborative advocacy efforts that take that into account. He knows that voices together are more powerful than disparate voices. And he has played a vital role in the forging of efforts such as Fair Budget Coalition and the DC Access to Justice Commission, both of which have been hugely successful in bringing resources into the community. Perhaps the most important thing I've learned about John, and what I cherish most, is that he has an unfailing commitment, heart and soul, to justice in its truest sense. He knows that true justice can't be achieved simply by bringing more lawyers into the community or even by providing a right to counsel. John knows that true justice cannot be achieved until we have achieved racial justice and economic justice. And he has devoted his life to making that happen. He knows that lawyers have not only a role, but he believes that lawyers have a responsibility to use our skills and our toolbox towards that end. John is so very deserving of this award that is being presented to him this evening. To honor him for that special recognition, I would urge that we all rededicate ourselves to working to forge that true justice in the community that John has dedicated his life to.
What a great choice for the Scoutt Prize this year. Jonathan Smith is an every person, and he is brilliant on all of it. He's a visionary. His North Star speaks of what the world should be: access to justice for everybody. He speaks with clarity for victims of discriminations against people of color and low-income people of all color. But at the same time, he is a fighter day-to-day. Litigation in detail and also on broad policy too. He has worked in nonprofit organizations and in the government. Wherever John comes, he makes justice better.